You know, when the COVID started, we seriously went into prayer. We sought the face of God for his divine intervention. And one of the things we were praying, that God should control the situation, but at the same time, he should give the scientific community the wisdom for the discovery of a vaccine. And now, by the grace of God, the scientific community has discovered some vaccines. And now the challenge is that majority of the people, especially in this part of our continent and Africa and Ghana, are now hesitant to take the vaccine. Now that they have discovered the vaccine, we said it is too short a time for them to have discovered the vaccine, and therefore it is not safe, because normally vaccine travel for about 15 years. They do all the trial and error before they will make it more public, before finally human beings can use it so that they can understand the side effects. But how can a vaccine manufactured within less than a year be given to humanity? It's too short a time. But I thought you prayed. I thought you asked God for wisdom. I thought you told God, give the scientific community wisdom to discover a vaccine. And I thought God has heard your prayer. Now you are the very same person who told God to give them wisdom to discover the vaccine. Now the same person is saying it is too short a time that they have discovered a vaccine, and therefore you are not sure how you should accept the vaccine, and perhaps you don't believe in it. That reminds me in Acts chapter 12, when Peter was arrested. At that time, Herod had killed John. And therefore, Peter was now arrested, and he was going to face firing squad the following day. And the Bible said, and the disciples raised a prayer to God, that God would save Peter and spare his life. Now, Peter, for a miraculous reason by God's intervention, was released by an angel. Now Peter got to the house of Mary where the prayers was ongoing. When Peter knocked on the door, Rhoda came, and then when she peeped, she saw it was Peter. Out of excitement, she didn't open the gate. She ran to where the prayer was going on and knocked on the door where the apostles had met. They opened the door, and she said, guess what? Peter is at the gate. They said, what, bow down? Are you crazy? Peter is in cell, is in prison, about to be killed. She said, no, Peter is at the gate. They said he must probably need some psychologist. There is something wrong in her head. She kept disturbing the prayer meeting until finally they heard a bang, boom, 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 boom. Peter was still knocking. And when they now got to the gate, they saw Peter and they said it was probably a ghost. Hey, believers, they were praying to God. These were apostles. They were praying to God. And God answered the prayer. Released Peter. They still couldn't believe it was Peter. So why were they praying? Why were they praying? When they saw Peter, they thought it was an angel. And Peter said, it's me. So we are having the same experience now in our time. We have prayed for the vaccine, that God should give the scientists the wisdom. And within 1 year, a vaccine has been discovered. Now the same Christians are now saying it is the mark of the beast. Now the same Christians are now saying that is one of the end time activities. So why did the church pray? What were you praying for? What were you expecting? And then they said, but how can this same vaccine now you are going to have a certificate, and without that you cannot travel, you cannot buy, you cannot travel. It is part of the end time post-tribulation. It's part of the end time, the Antichrist. Now those of you who travel, you know very well, you cannot travel outside your country without a yellow card, health certificate. Without the yellow card, they will not admit you in their country. That yellow card has some vaccines. Yellow fever, which takes 10 years. They will want to be sure that you have been vaccinated with yellow fever. There are some countries when you are going, they demand a particular vaccine. So naturally, you go to our health post, and then you will go and take that vaccination because that country demands that. So in all our travels, your yellow card is part of your passport. You submit at the entrance of the immigration. So if they are saying that it's likely COVID now will be included in the list of the vaccine, if you don't have a COVID vaccine, you can't travel. It has nothing to do with the mark of the beast, because the nations want to be sure that you may be asymptomatic, so you may not carry it when they are trying to bring the numbers down. So they want to be sure that you have a vaccine. hear me carefully, we prayed for God to give the scientific world wisdom. By the grace of God, they have discovered a vaccine. The vaccine has arrived. The 1st of March 2021, government of Ghana will start some aspect of the vaccination, based upon the targets they have arranged. I just want to encourage you. There is nothing demonic about this. Well, I am not a vaccine ambassador, but I'm only just saying that based upon what Ghana Health Service has told us, based upon the information they have passed on to us, I am only encouraging you that when the time comes, the more people are vaccinated, the more they will bring the spread and under control one way or the other.